Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in today. As always, I'm looking forward to spending a little bit of crafty time with you. Now, today I'm going to answer a couple of questions. So, first of all, Deborah got in touch with me, and thank you for that, Deborah. And she was saying that she really enjoyed the video I did using the roo stamp the other week, but she's got May, and she asked if I could use May on a similar design. So, this is May here, and this is what I've come up with. But also our lovely Sylvia got in touch, and she was saying, had I got any ideas that would be suitable for the occasion of Mothering Sunday? So I thought, well, actually, this would. Now, I have to say, when I was looking through my sentiments, a bit of tongue-in-cheek, I couldn't resist. There's a lovely put your feet up, and I thought lovely May is there putting her feet up. But do you know what? That was just me being a bit silly. You know what I'm like, you know the way my head works. But this, you could have a happy birthday sentiment, or it could be for Mothering Sunday. Now, I've put the lovely heart hanging here because May's got her hand out. But I mean, we have got so many of our lovely mini stamps. You could have various things hanging, or actually place something in her hand. So again, you know, it's all about, I mean, if you're stuck for a birthday card, you could always put, we've got the number stamps, the number of the person's age, well, depending how old they are, you know, she might not have hands big enough to hold big numbers. But like I say, for me, this is just the beginning. But I do love it when you get in touch. So thanks so much, Deborah and Sylvia, for your messages. So as I say, this is the sort of thing I'm going to create. But I'm also mindful that so many of you have been in touch and actually said that you don't like creating large designs. So I'm going to use a piece of the A6 from this pack of multifarious card. It always challenges me that. Too many M's in one sentence. Right, just one piece, I think. Right, carefully put that back in there. And file that next to Mr. Eric. So for those of you that have been asking, Eric, bless him, his arthritis is a lot worse and he's really struggling. He's 9 now, but he's here, sat at my feet as always with his head. He got a lovely new toy at Christmas from Auntie Lisa, gorgeous, really soft teddy bear. So he's got his head resting on his teddy bear. So he is here. Now, as always, I'm going to put my copy of paper just for me. It just works well. And I'm going to start off and use mainly our Nocturne, our black VersaFine Claire. And I'm going to bring May in. And for me, I tend to do the stamping first. Not always, but as a general rule. So I'm just going to, lots of light tapping. I don't want to press too hard. Just ink this lovely stamp up. And it is amazing because it's quite a decent sized stamp really, but it's amazing how much you can get on a smaller piece of card. Now I want to put her so she looks like she's sat. There we go. And I just find it easier to stamp sideways, but again, that's just me. You stamp however you are comfortable stamping. I always say we're all different. You know, I just come in and do things the way that I find useful and that works for me. When I started off, I had great problem stamping, and I've always said to everybody, I'm not the most confident stamper. Mind you, to be honest, I'm not the most confident person in the world. I do get myself in a tiz. But they do say it's good to put yourself out of your comfort zone, don't they? It's good for you. Now, the reason I'm letting the ink soak into the card is obviously May's a silhouette, lots of ink on there. And if you lift up your acrylic block too soon, you might not get a very good stamped image. And that's purely because you've not let the ink soak into the card. This way we get, look at that, beautiful. Now, when I was looking through my stamps, I decided to team May up with our Lilium. And I just think it just fits beautifully. And again, this is a large stamp, but you know, you don't need to have a lot of it on each of your stamping. So we don't need to use the whole of the stamp is what I'm trying to say in a funny sort of way. So if I look at the design, I like this sort of shape here, look. I think possibly there. Yeah, that will work well. And then let's have a look. And again, remember, you've always got your acetate to use. And I just want to catch the edge here. But this is a beautiful stamp if you like decoupaging. Now again, I know a few of you have been in touch and said Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday. I said it last week, he does at this time of year. I think he's worked so hard making all those Christmas cards and New Year's cards that he wants a break. But spending time just stamping, colouring in, cutting out can be a way of enticing him back. So if you want to do that, this stamp on its own makes a beautiful stamp to colour and then decoupage these leaves here. So if you're looking for something to entice him back, that can be one thing. Now, I'm just going to give that a bit of a blot as we go. I like to just VersaFine Clair's a slower drying ink, so it's good to be mindful and blot it. I'm going to come in with this heart. Now there's 3 hearts on this Fairy Charms. I went for this one because I need to extend, and I've just gone over that, so I'm just taking that off. So I'm thinking a hand is there, so we'll go for that. But this one is the easier of the 3 for me to actually extend. So I could, if I wanted, come in with my stamp and stamp it this way, look. But it's whether I could match it up. So the other way is to take your fine liner, and this is the black one, and I'm just going to carry on that line there, look. And then we've got those little dots. And you know what? Nobody's going to notice. But like I say, the other way is to come in and just match the 2 up that way. So once again, we'll give that a bit of a blot. Right, and we'll just remove this. And then I'm going to add a little bit of colour in the background now. And this is just the way I tend to work. So, for me, I'm going to turn this upside down, and I've got one of my circle masks. And this size just sort of fits her in. We can just get, look, her headdress, her toes. Now, you could mask some areas off, but I'm not going to. I love my stencil brushes, and I love the way I can use them. Now, I'm going to use blue atoll for this. Now, I've actually got 2 blue atolls. I have mentioned this before. What happens is, when my ink pads run out, I keep one when it gets near the end, and I buy a new one, and I write on the back so I know which is the new one. But if I show you, I'll just move that out of the way. There's quite a difference between my old one and my new one. Obviously, my new one is a lot more juicy, a lot more colour. But I love the old one because it's a lot softer. So when I'm using if ever you use the Moon mask or any of your masks and you get harsh lines and you've got too much ink, you know, an older ink pad is perfect for that first bit. So for me, I would never throw one away. And I know we keep being asked about re-inkers, but for me, I love the fact I can have an older ink pad and a new ink pad. And a little tip, I always write it on the base of the ink pad, not on the lid, because I can get my lids mixed up, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is put my newer one over there, because I'm going to start off with my older one. And again, it's just something quirky to me. And you know, I like to invite you into my head and tell you the way it works. So as I say, this is my old one. And I've popped this upside down just because I find it easier to work this way. And I'm going all the way around. But I'm not even dabbing off on the lid because I know that this ink pad is so faint. But if I lift that off, look, you can see it's such a faint. In fact, you can probably hardly see the colour there. So I can leave it this way now because, as I say, it's so faint, the amount of ink. If we take that off, so I'm just going to go round the flowers roughly. And then what I will do is come in with my newer ink pad. Now this, wait till you see the difference, the colour with this, and I'm popping this in the lid. Can you see how much stronger that is? So what I'm going to do is just blend a little bit of the darker just into the corners. I'm just going to turn it round. Being mindful, I'm just holding it with a piece of kitchen roll because just to avoid getting any finger marks on. And up in this top corner. And then just blend that blue. And hopefully that'll be seamless. We won't be able to see where the light and the dark mix. But I do want to come in now with my midnight blue. And just add around the edge just a little bit of the midnight blue. And again, you don't necessarily, I don't want too much. I don't want it to sort of hit you in the face, but I want it to be, if it wasn't there, you'd notice. And quite often that's the sort of thing we do. And I love the midnight blue for this. It's not as strong as black. I don't want black. I just want, can you see how it's just sort of added a bit more moodiness, I suppose. So last little thing I want to do with my violet chalk is add a little bit of just something into the background here. So I'm going for the laurel stencil. Now, I don't want it over where May is. So I'm just going to make sure that my lovely, this is clean. And I'm going to place that back over there just to protect May. And then I'm going to pop my stencil on. Now, you can tape it down, but you know me. Got my hands and I'm just going to gently tickle. I don't want this colour to be really in your face. I just want it to be nicely in the background. And I can see through the stencil, so I can see where my Lilium flowers are, so I won't go over those. Now, I've got to be honest, on my original I didn't even put the circle mask over. I just looked where it was and avoided it. Right, let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's enough. That's plenty. Give that a quick wipe. But can you see how that's just adds something into the background there? And stencils are fabulous for this. I do love stencils. So we'll just give this a bit of a wipe. Nice clean space, cleanish. So what I want to do now is add some colour. But what I'm thinking is we're going to do a bit of a sort of a cheat colouring. So I've got Blue Lagoon here, and this is quite a deep colour. And I've gone for my smaller stencil brush, the number 3. And I love these little stencil brushes. We've got rather a lot of flowers here to colour in. So for these ones that are in the background, I'm just going to literally colour straight with a stencil brush. And this is so quick and easy to do, but it's very effective. Oh look, got my finger in it then. Yeah, don't put your finger in the ink pad. So, and with it being in the background, obviously the main flower I'm going to colour in with my my watercolour pencils, but just for these larger ones in the background, we're just going to add a quick bit of lovely colour to get the idea. There we go. And look at that. And we'll just give that a bit of a spritz and a clean. So on to May herself. I'm going to come in with my lovely pencils here. So I'm just using the watercolour pencils, and I'm just going to get a green. And again, I'm just leaning on my kitchen towel just to try and minimise the fact, you know, the chance of me getting ink on my work. I know I've already got some ink on there, but some ink where I don't want it. And I'm just going to add a little bit of green to her wing. When I was choosing my colours, obviously the flowers are blue, and I did wonder whether to do her wings blue, so it looked like she was the fairy that belonged with these flowers. But then I thought, oh, I want them to pop a bit more, her wings. She's special. So I went for green, orange and yellow. Now again, if you like decoupaging, her wing looks beautifully decoupaged. So onto the Lilium themselves. So I want a dark blue and a light blue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of dark blue in the middle, look, just on each flower. And again, then in with the lighter colour, and there's a little bit of a wing that side, I don't want to forget that. Now, if Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday, you can spend the afternoon colouring this. You could take your time, make yourself a nice brew, get a nice biscuit, or have you got any mince pies left? I bet some of you still have. I mean, we're still in January. After eights, they're something that lasts for a long time as well, aren't they? Have you got any after eights left? So we're going to do a little bit of that winker colouring. So what I'm going to do, rather than using my watercolour brush and then add sparkle, I'm going to use my Wink of Stella brush to actually add the sparkle and to blend my watercolour pencils both at the same time. So I'll start with my lighter colour, which is the yellow, and then move into the orange and then blend into the green there, look. And then blend right across. But I will have a little bit of green. So again, my kitchen roll comes in handy just to clean my brush. So now we'll just go into the beautiful blue here and do the same thing. So it will activate those watercolour pencils, but we'll also add that beautiful glitter. So it'll blend the light and the dark together. And you can just drag that colour, look. So as you've noticed, I tend not to go right to the tip of the flowers, because then I can just add some sparkle to the tip and just drag that colour. One more here. Now you could do all the flowers like this if you wanted. I just thought it would be a way of showing you two different techniques, and also for me, this area I want it to almost stand out a little bit more. Very important. Take all the blue off there just till it runs clear. Now what I do want to do is get my lovely pastel pencils, and I've got a couple of things here I want to do. First, with a dark blue, I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of depth here, look. So we coloured these quite quickly, didn't we? Well, if I just bring in my pastel pencil, and I don't need to worry about fixing this. I've got a biodegradable cotton bud here, and I'm just using it to blend that pastel. But because I've got ink underneath, it's got something almost to grab to. so I don't need to actually fix it. But if you look at the difference with this one compared with this one, it just gives it a little bit more depth. Now you might be happy just leaving them with the ink, but I just think if I can just add a little bit more detail, just sort of gives that lovely light and shade. And again, it's nothing difficult, and it's nothing that's going to take you a long time, but it's effective. I do like these things that give nice effective results, but that don't take forever. There speaks somebody who wishes she had more time. And then also, what I'm going to do is just get the white, and as always, I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight on the heart there, and a little bit on her head, a little bit on May's shoulder there. Not going to overcook it, just a little bit. Right, we can put the lid on those, and then get my lovely Wink of Stella again, and I'm just going to add a little bit on the chain, look, and that's quite good. So if you think it's obvious where you've added your pen on that chain, you can always add some white highlights, add your Wink of Stella. It just helps distract, and we'll go round where the lovely moon is, look, and on that heart. So as you can see, we've just got the lovely sparkle. Now, when I was creating this, I just thought it looks a little bit bare for me here. Now, you've got choices here. I did think about stamping one of our lovely sentiments in the background, but me being me, I went for something floral. You know what I'm like. And I decided that the field grass was so lovely and light and airy, sort of really wispy, that it would work. Now, again, when it came to colours, sorry, I put my copy paper down next to Eric. Choices here, you could stamp in blue. I think Warm Breeze would look nice, but I love, as you know, I love orange, but I wanted to bring the orange into the picture, almost make it quite zesty, but the choice is yours. I think this would look lovely, blue or orange. I mean, this again is one of those designs, you know. So if Mr. Mojo's gone, maybe have a go at the design and then use different colours. See what it looks like with different colours. And what I tend to do with this stamp is first generation where I've got a space, but then I come in second and third look, and it just pushes it to the background and it won't take away from where we have stamped. So if you haven't got a lot of room, this is a lovely stamp for just adding in those spaces. And from the top, look, we'll add some in this corner. And I don't want to go right across the top. But again, if you're not keen on where you've drawn that line there, what I'm thinking is just distract a little bit with a little bit of stamping. We can make it quite wispy, look. So it almost looks, and I like the way we've got that gap there, so it's not covering the whole top. We've got a little bit of space, and it's good to have space because it's somewhere for your eye to rest. So those of you that want to leave it like that, you can. Again, me being me, I wanted to bring in some orange sparkle Posca. Now, a little tip here, I don't really want orange Posca on our lovely May. So I'm just going to check that my circle mask is clean and then just pop it on her there, just to protect her. Give it a good shake. Get one of our stencil brushes, and I'm just going to add some lovely little over the flowers. And again, it's up to you how many of these you add. Me being me, we're going all the way around. And then pop the lid on, and very carefully, she says, lift that up. Yes, you see there's a couple of spots on there, so I would have got them on her. Give that a wipe. And then if I lift that up Can you see how we've got that lovely sparkle? And it's like that stencil work in the background. Now, if the camera's a bit funny today, it's very dark here, it's very windy, it's a horrible day, there's snow in a lot of parts of the UK, so again, I do apologise. Now, on my finished one, this is, I think it's an A5 card blank, I've actually put some little splats on there as well. And again, we've got that sentiment. But just before I go, I just wanted to show you, on mine, I've matted on dark blue. But it is funny, what I tend to do is get lots of different coloured pieces of card out, because it is amazing the difference. So if we pop it on the lighter blue, you've got that look. Let me just turn that round so what you would see it on white. So that gives it almost a different look. And if I swap that for the orange, once again you'll see that picks up the orange. So you have got choices, and you know what? No specific colour is correct. You choose. I mean, I've got to be honest, sometimes it depends how I feel on a specific day as to what colour I would decide to matte and layer. Depends what mood I'm in. And I'm sure you're the same. I do think crafting, you know, it is very much run by sort of our head and our hormones and all those other bits we have. So experiment, different colours backing card, you know, have fun. Anyway, I can't wait to see what you come up with. And Sylvia and Deborah, I'm hoping you've enjoyed this little video. The fact that it's specially for you. I mean, it's for everybody else as well. But you gave me the ideas, the starting point. And often that's what we need, isn't it? Again, if Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday, maybe ask one of your friends to give you a challenge. Name a stamp, and then you come up with a design using that stamp. That's an idea. Have you got May? Maybe you could get her out and tell her to put her feet up. She needs to be used. Anyway, you take care. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll pop back tomorrow, so get the kettle on ready for 5. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.